Hi, there's multiple things that we're going to do. This first recording is how to do your measurements from your average responses. So you pull open your file. This is on Chart Reader, your free software. So I'm using the same software that you can download for free off the internet. If you go to ADI Instruments, or you just write Chart Reader, you can download this for Mac, or you can download it for an IBM-based computer, Dell or something. Okay, so you open up the file that you saved, or you can do this in the lab, and then you save it to your desktop. I wouldn't use it off of the email. All right, so what you do is you highlight. Don't do this overlay thing. Highlight right here the pages that you want. Now this, I'm taking the data file from group 1, which did a really nice job. They labeled all their salines. They labeled all their lithiums at 0. They labeled all their lithiums at 15. And then they labeled all their lithiums at 30. So we know exactly which ones, files go where. And then they labeled all their washes up to the 20 afterwards. So it's really easy to follow this. So what you do is you highlight, use the shift key, and go down here and highlight those first salines, or if you know the page numbers that you've written down, that's fine. Then you click over here, and then you click on the average, create an average from the selected pages. There it is. There's the average for the first pages 1 through 20. Let's do the next one. Here's lithium 1 through 20 at 0 time. Let's create an average. There it is. There's 20 pages in there. Let's create an average of the lithium at 15. There it is. We click up here. There's the average of the lithium at 15. Now, how about the lithium at 30? There's the lithium at 30, an average. Now let's collect the wash of 20 pages. Let's collect an average. So now we have 4 averages of each of 20 pages. So to make your measurements, you could do one thing here. And then I'll stop and record a different video on how to do the cut and paste and make a graph out of these. But you can take your M marker, for example, put it down on the baseline over here. Let's pick a few peaks. Hey, you gotta write this down. So you could choose this first peak, and you could say, okay, I'm going to look at the peak amplitude of this first event, and then go way over here to the right-hand side. You see where I'm circulating over here? But I can't do this while I'm moving the marker. So you got the M here, move the marker up to the top. There it is. And if you look over to your right-hand side, that says 384.7 millivolts. So you write that down, 384.7 millivolts. And we could actually measure the bottom one. Let's do that. And so the bottom one is what? Bottom one is minus 410.3. What was the top one again? Let me just double check. Okay, it's 385. 3. And you could draw on your notes a little note, and that way you have a drawing of what you're measuring. Okay, and now what you could do is take this marker away, click it over here, see where it clicked over here, and now just use your cursor. You could either pick some value that you want, like where it starts to rise, or maybe that peak value again. Let's just pick this peak. Now, what do we have up here? We have a time. This is the top graph up here that we're talking about, not the next one, this top one. Watch what happens if I put my cursor up there. It gives me the time to that value, and that time is what? 5.8 milliseconds. So I'm going to write down 5.8 milliseconds. I'm going to write it down. Okay, now I'm going to choose the next 20, which is really what? That's 0 time. Let me just pick the peak up there for that. That time is now 5.9 milliseconds. So it's delaying, it's getting longer. Okay, 5.9. Now I want to know the amplitude of that signal. So I'm going to plot this over here. I'm going to move over here. I'm going to plot the amplitude. Or at least get the value. There it is. That value is 391. Okay, so 391 actually got larger, 0.2. How about the bottom one? What did we choose? The initial one? The first one last time? Let's go back and make sure we chose the first one that we could measure. Well, it's kind of weird. Maybe we don't want to pick these peaks because it's kind of weird. Okay, let me just stay with the first peak. All right, that's fine. Everything's a little bit changed. Now let's go to the lithium here. Were we at lithium 2? Yeah, okay, we were at lithium 2. Now we're going to go to lithium 3. Okay, so let's choose the peak amplitude. Let's just go with that one. The first one that we get. That is 283.6. 283.6. Okay. But while we're over there, we should have gotten this. You've got to take the marker away. You've got to take the marker away. And let's get the time for this peak. That one says 5.8 milliseconds. Okay, we already did the other one. Okay, so now we're going to do lithium at 30. So we're going to click at that one. Okay, let's just go get the time frame. That one, 6 milliseconds. So now it's went from 5.8, 5.9 to about 5.8 again to 6 milliseconds. So that's really changed quite a lot. It's delayed. It takes longer. Let's measure the amplitude. So let's move that marker to somewhere in the baseline. Let's get the amplitude if we can. Got to move it around a little bit. There's a peak. 322.3. 22.3. And if you think it's hard to measure right here, what you can do is do what? Zoom in. All right, and you can zoom in, you can get a better perspective. Then you can push that out and you get away. Now we have the values for the time from 0 to the peaks. We have the amplitude of the first peak. We can plot that alone. Okay, so now we've got that. If we want to now save these files, I'm going to save that for a second video. Okay.